Good afternoon. My name is Hector Armas, and I'm one of the counselors at Bassett High School. Joining me this afternoon on this live presentation are our other two wonderful counselors, Ms. Torres and Mrs. Villalvir. And also joining us is Ms. Nungaray from LACO Community Schools Initiative at Bassett High School. We want to welcome you to our very first virtual financial aid presentation. Today, you are going to learn about the various resources that are available in helping your child finance or pay for their college education. We will be sharing detailed information about the resources available from the federal government, the state of California, the colleges themselves, and outside scholarships that can help in financing your child's college education. If you have any questions or need further clarification about the information that is being shared, please send us a chat message and we will address them at the end of the first part of our presentation, or we will just simply respond to your question in the chat box. Now, Ms. Villalvir will lead us with the first part of the financial aid presentation.
Good evening, this is Ms. Villalvir. I'm so glad you're here joining us today. Our objectives today are to talk about what financial aid is, expenses, various sources of aid, how to access financial aid, the free application for federal student aid, called the FAFSA usually, and the California Dream Act application. So what is financial aid? Financial aid is basically money to finance your son's or your daughter's education. It can cover different things. For example, it can cover tuition and fees, and books and supplies, room and board, personal miscellaneous items, and also transportation. These are all different school expenses, and there might be others also that your son or your daughter might need in college. Where does this money come from? It comes from different sources, such as the federal government. There are all examples here of different places where this is coming from. There are Pell Grants, there's the FSEOG, there are loans, there's work study. The state of California has 3 different grants. They're called the Cal Grant A, Cal Grant B, and Cal Grant C, and I'm going to talk about those in a moment. And also colleges, universities, or vocational schools have their own money that they could give to the students as in forms of scholarship and grants also. Where does this money originate? Continue. It could also come from work study, from the student working during summer or during the regular school year, and that could help supplement some of the money that they need to pay for their expenses. Also from family members. Sometimes parents, uncles, grandparents, or other relatives are willing to pitch in for the student to attend college. And there's also scholarships. There are companies like McDonald's and Coca-Cola that offer different types of scholarships. Also, you as a parent, if you're here as a parent, your company, if you work for a place where that offers a scholarship, sometimes that could be a source of money for your son or your daughter. Bassett High School also has some scholarships, so these are some examples: BEF, PTA, and BTA, BMCA, and Think Together. All of those organizations offer money to students. There's also other community scholarships, and so you see Bassett has different community scholarships that they offer for students also. There are 4 federal aid programs. I'm going to cover those briefly here. The first one is Pell Grant. So a Pell Grant is free money that you don't have to repay. The amounts are up to $6,345 for the 2020-2021 school year. There's the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. And this grant, as you can see the abbreviation there, the FSEOG, it's a grant that ranges anywhere from $100 to $4,000. There is the college work study. So college work study is a program that provides part-time job opportunities for undergrad students with financial need. And so the student works usually on campus, and the amount that the students, it could be up to $3,000. Loans also, so some students have to supplement their financial aid by borrowing money. So this is money that the student does have to repay when they graduate from college. There are two types of loans. There are subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans, and I am going to cover a little bit of that in a moment. The federal student aid, let me see, the federal student loans. So there are the two types of loans that there are, the subsidized. So this loan is a need-based loan, and the government pays the interest while in college. The unsubsidized loans are where the student has to pay the interest. So the student will be responsible once they graduate. The student will be responsible for paying all of the interest that was accrued during the time that the student was going to college. Let me see. And so these loans, they feature different things. So one of the good things about this loan is that right now it has a 2.75% its fixed interest rate. And after the student graduates from college, they will start paying 6 months after. So when the student graduates 6 months after, that's when they make their first payment. Then there is the Direct Plus loan. This loan is strictly available for parents. So this is a loan that you as a parent would borrow for your son or your daughter to help them pay for school. This loan, and like we said before, loans you have to repay. So this loan has an interest rate of 5.30 right now. And if you want more information about this loan, you can visit this website. So it's https://understandaid/types/loans/plus. So right now we are going to allow Mr. Armis to help us. If we have questions in the chat, he's going to share the questions, and he's also going to answer those questions. So Mr. Armis, do you have any questions in the chat?
Thank you, Ms. Villavir. At this time, I don't see any questions from any of our audience members. So we'll give you a couple of moments for you to write any questions if you need any clarity on what was presented regarding the federal aid programs. If you have any questions, please send us a chat message, and we would be gladly to address those questions at this time. If there are no questions, then we'll continue with our presentation, but we'll wait about a minute or so. And so if you do have a question, just go to the chat function on the left-hand side where you'll see a little icon that says chat. You can click on that chat and send us a message.
Mr. Armas, there's a question on the chat that says, which loans are interest-free?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Which loans are interest-free? That's a very, very good question. At this time, and Ms. Villavir and the rest of the team can also help in answering this question, that I'm aware of, I am not aware of any loans that are interest-free. Usually the loans that are available for students that are provided by the federal aid programs are loans that are very low cost or interest rate. So what the schools usually do is that when there are financing or developing a package, a financial aid package for a student and their families, the loans that the student will qualify for would be either a subsidized or an unsubsidized loan, or even a Parent Plus loan. So the difference between those three is that one, like Ms. Villavir mentioned, it's a subsidized loan is a loan that basically allows a student to continue school, and while they're in school, they don't have to pay the interest on that loan, whereas in subsidized, they do have to pay the interest. But my understanding is that I'm not aware of any, to answer your question, I'm not aware of any loans that may be interest-free.
Thank you, Mr. Armas. There's another question that says, how do we apply for these grants?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. So as we present, we're going to, towards our last slides of our presentation, we're going to let parents and students know what are the steps, what's the process to apply for consideration of these types of aids. So in a nutshell, basically, they're going to have to submit what's called a FAFSA, which is a free application for student aid, free application for student aid. And also they can apply the DREAM Act application, and that's going to be available for students that do not have either a social security number or they have a DACA work permit. But we're going to give more detailed information in terms of what are the steps towards the end of our presentation. Thank you, Ms. Najarro, for sharing that information. And I also would like to say that Ms. Najarro is a student from University of Laverne who is a counseling intern doing her internship with us. And I truly appreciate you helping us out, Ms. Najarro. Any other questions that we can address?
Thank you, Mr. Armas, for that introduction. I'm very happy to be here tonight. At this time, there's no questions on the chat.
Okay, well, let's continue. And again, if you have any additional questions or still need clarification on the information that we're providing, please feel free to send us a question, and we will be very happy to answer. So let's proceed to our second part. Ms. Villalvid covered the federal government aid that's available to our students. Now let's review the state aid that's available for students that choose to reside in California. So can we go on to the next slide, please, and we'll continue?
So the state of California offers grants for students that choose to study in California. So there are three different grants, Cal grants, and then there's a middle class grant also. I'm going to go in more detail about these grants. So there's the Cal Grant A, the Cal Grant B, and the Cal Grant C, and then the middle class grant. The Cal Grant A, for the student to qualify for this Cal Grant A, the criteria it's based on GPA and financial need. It pays up to the full tuition and fees of the school the student is attending. So if the student decides to attend a Cal State University, then it would cover $5,742 for the 2020-2021 school year. If the student decides to attend a UC, then it will cover $12,570. And that would be also for the 2020-2021 school year. If the student decides to attend a private university, then it would cover $9,084. And for the community colleges, it depends on which community college the student is attending. So it might differ from one community college to the next, and it is a reserve grant. The Cal Grant A is guaranteed for students if they have a 3.0 GPA in high school or higher, if they meet the financial requirements. So here are a couple of examples. So this example is a low to middle income. So a family of 6 or more whose parents make $118,500 or less would qualify. Okay, and then there's another example here. Family of 4 is $102,500. So if you go into the website, you'll see that they have the different amounts depending on how many people live in your household. Okay, and the student has to apply for financial aid before or by March 2nd of 2021 in order to qualify for this Cal Grant A. The Cal Grant B It is also based on GPA. So the criteria is the student has to have a certain GPA to qualify. The parent's income, the parent's level of education. They would also look at different factors, such as if the student was in if the student was a foster youth or in foster care, or if the student lives in a single parent household. It applies to community colleges, trade schools, Cal State universities, UCs, and private colleges. The first year, they offer you up to 1,656, and that also applies for the second, third, and fourth year. And it would cover tuition and fees. So the Cal Grant B is guaranteed if the student has a 2.0 GPA or higher. They meet the financial requirement, and here are a couple of examples also for a low-income family. So a family of 6 or more whose parents make $65,100 or less would qualify for this. And then there's another example here for a family of 4. So for a family of 4, it would be $53,900 or less. And the student has to apply for financial aid before March 2nd or by March 2nd of 2021. The Cal Grant C is a vocational grant. The amounts vary from $547 to $2,462. It is for low and middle income families. And this grant is to assist with tuition and training costs at career technical schools. So here are some examples of some of those schools. So auto mechanic, cosmetology, firefighters, cooks, police officers, and there's of course many more. These are just a few examples. The middle class scholarship is for students whose family income for families who make less than $184,000 a year. This is awarded to students who would be attending a Cal State University or a University of California, and it pays for about from 10% to 40% of mandatory tuition and fees at the Cal States and the UCs. Then there's also state specialized programs. The California Chafee Grant is for students who have been foster youth in high school, and it is up to $5,000 to attend school for at least half time. They have to, so this is one of the few that you have to apply on a separate application. So you would have to fill out the California Chafee application in addition to the financial aid application or the the financial aid application to apply for aid. Okay, so this is the website here. So if you want to write it down, this might be a good thing to maybe screenshot or take a picture of, because this is the good website for you to go and get more information about it and also to apply. So do I qualify for aid? Students ask that all the time. So aid is given to, if there's financial need, then the student will get some sort of financial aid. So financial aid is, financial need is the cost of attending college minus the family contribution. So the family contribution is the parent contribution. So when students complete the FAFSA or the DREAM Act application, then they're going to get at the end a parent contribution. They're going to get an amount of how much the parents are expected to contribute to the student's education. So in this example here, this parent contribution is $1,000. So we put together here kind of like an example of how an award might look if you attend a Cal State University. So this is for a cost of a school that costs about $25,000. So as you can see, the parent contribution is $1,000. The financial need of the student will be $24,000 because the parent contribution is $1,000. So in this example, the Pell Grant is $6,100. Work study is $3,000. The subsidized loan is $2,442. The unsubsidized loan is $3,310. The Cal Grant A is $5,742. The Cal State University grant is $1,656. There's a scholarship for $1,000, and then the student was able to save some money from summer work, and that is $750. So as you can see, that is a total of $24,000, and so that would cover the cost to attend that university. So how do you get this money? So now is when we start talking about that FAFSA application that Mr. Armis talked about earlier. So the students have to complete and send the free application for federal student aid or the California Dream Act application by March 2nd. So that is the deadline to get all the things that you qualify for, basically. And so March 2nd, 2021 is the most important date to remember. Okay, and the application opens October 1st. So tomorrow, the FAFSA and the California Dream Act application is going to be open. So you are able to go into the website and start completing some of that information. The counselors are going to be sending GPAs to the CSAC, so the California Student Aid Commission, and that is for them to know if your student qualifies and which grant they might be able to qualify for. So we do that. You don't have to worry about that. The counselors send those GPAs. So the website to apply is www.fafsa.ed.gov. So as you see it on the screen, this is another great place where you might want to take a screenshot or take a picture of the website. You're going to be visiting that website often. So when you go into the website, you're gonna click on the button that says Getting Started, and you're gonna follow the instructions. Now, in order for you to access the FAFSA, it's going to request that you create an FSID. So the FSID is basically your electronic signature, and it allows you to check in on your status, and you're going to be requested to use that FSA ID every time you log in. So here's the website where you can go. So as you can see on the screen right there towards the bottom, that it says https://fasid.ed.gov/NPAS/index.htm. So when you go to that website, when you click on that, actually, if we post the website, you might be able to click on it. So if you're able to do that, it's going to take you to the place where you can create your FSID. And you have to remember to write down your password and your key that you're going to use and your username. So that way, every time you log in, you have that information accessible. You're going to be using that all the time. For the California Dream Act, you also apply online. So they have a different website. So as you can see, the California Dream Act application is only for students who do not have a Social Security number or have a DACA work permit. So if you have a Social Security number, you use the FAFSA. If you don't have a Social Security number or have a DACA work permit, then you use the Dream Act application at this website. So it's https://dream.csac.ca.gov. And you're going to click, so to get started, you're going to click on first time user, and then you're going to follow the instructions. What is next? If you need additional help or you want to attend another place where they can talk about FAFSA and the California Dream Act, Mount SAC is offering this virtual cash for college event. It is a free webinar and workshop. It is going to be offered on Saturday, October 17th. So it's coming up pretty quick in a couple of weeks. We recommend that you attend this free event to get more information. They might help you also complete the FAFSA. What you might want to do is get started with us, the counselors at Bassett. We're going to be offering you different types of assistance. And then when you attend the Mount SAC Virtual Cash for College, you might be able to either ask questions that are detailed in regards to your application, or you might be able to complete the whole thing after you attend this event. We would also suggest that you keep in touch with your counselor if you have any questions or concerns about the financial aid application or the California Dream Act application. We recommend that parents sign up for something called the Remind app. As you can see is the second bullet point here. So the class of 2021 has a Remind app. If you text that code at FS6KD4D to the number 81010 on your phone, you're going to get reminders on your phone about different scholarships that are coming up. And right now, there are not many available, but pretty soon you're going to start to get a lot more messages about scholarships that are available that your son or your daughter could apply for. So I strongly recommend that you signed up for the Remind app, and also that your son or your daughter also does the same thing if they haven't done so already. We also have an Instagram. It is called @BassettCCC. As you can see, that is the address. If you have an Instagram account, I strongly recommend that you start following. Mr. Orozco is in charge of the Instagram, and he does a great job in posting information about different things that are happening at Bassett. And so once again, we want to make sure that we remind you that for the financial aid, you apply before March 2nd, 2021. And if you can start the application as soon as possible, that will be better. It will take you a little bit of time for you to complete the application. So it is expected for you to log in more than once and maybe complete it in little parts. But the sooner you get started on that process, the better, okay? And we strongly recommend that you attend the FAFSA, the virtual FAFSA Cash for College event at Mount SAC on October 17th.
Ms. Villalvir?
Okay, any questions? Yes?
Oh, sorry, I went ahead of myself. I was gonna say there's a question on the chat that says, what proof of income do they need?
So when you're filling out the FAFSA, or I don't know if Mr. Armis wants to answer that, or should I go ahead and answer?
You can answer, Ms. Villalvir. That's fine.
Okay, so when students are filling out the FAFSA, the application is going to request that parents share their financial information. So if the parent was able to file taxes, the financial aid application is able to connect to the IRS directly, and they're able to communicate. Basically, the IRS communicates with the application, and they're able to report their income that way. Now, if there is a problem that maybe that wasn't happening in the application, then the parent has to use their taxes that they completed to complete the information on the FAFSA. And even if they haven't submitted, even if they didn't use their taxes or they didn't file for taxes, they're still able to put in financial information in the application. So there are many questions there to try to guide the person that is filling out the application. But basically, it's going to ask about your income, like where does your income come from, basically. Anything else, Mr. Armis, you would like to add?
Thank you, Ms. Villalvir. Yes, so in addition to that information that you just shared, there are some families in which sometimes they don't file taxes, or there aren't any amounts that are earned during the year. And so the question that the application is going to ask is going to be any other untaxed income and earned income that has been made. And if there hasn't, then go ahead and put down, the zero amount. When that application is submitted, the universities will then, look at all the applications. And if there's any further questions that need to be followed up on, colleges can reach out to the parents or the students directly to ask, more information about the amounts that are being reported or amounts that are not being reported. Sometimes, parents may be receiving supplemental Social Security benefits, et cetera, et cetera. So very good question also. Any other questions that or clarifications that parents may have or students may have?
Mr. Armas, there's another question that came in that says, what year are they going to request?
Okay, very good question. So one of the things that Ms. Villalbir mentioned is that starting tomorrow, October the 1st, students will be able to submit their FAFSA or start applying for FAFSA. And the year of income that the parents are going to be asked for is the year 2019, which is last year's income tax information. So we're in 2020 this year. They're going to be asked for 2019 information. At least that's my understanding. Is that your understanding also as well, Ms. Villalbir?
Yes. Yeah, it will be 2019 income taxes.
And if I can just add really fast. Hi, everybody. My name is Anthony Orozco. I'm the College and Career Advisor here at Bassett High School. Schools and universities did say if your situation changed drastically, let's say you lost your job because of COVID-19, that's not going to be accurately reflected in your 2019 taxes. But if yourself or a guardian of your student did lose their job, there is a way to use your current income, but that's going to require a couple more processes. So if that affects maybe you, a student, or somebody that you know, just have them go ahead and message either any of the counselors or myself, and we can help you out with that issue.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the chat box?
Okay.
No questions at this time.
So, in recap, please, students, seniors, parents, we recommend highly that you please keep in touch with your counselors. If you have any questions, concerns, or unusual situations, please communicate with us. We'll be able to guide you, provide you with the information, connect you with the correct personnel at the different colleges and universities so that you can get that additional support. And also with Mr. Orozco, who is our college advisor, our goal is to make sure that every student that is at Bassett High School has every opportunity to continue their education if they choose to do so, and also be eligible for every amount that they are eligible for, whether it's a Pell Grant, whether it's a federal supplemental education opportunity grant, whether it's a loan, whether it's college work study, a Cal Grant, or any other types of scholarships that are merit-based at the colleges. Please, we're here to help you. As we also get scholarships from various organizations, whether it's from McDonald's ACER program or from the Coca-Cola bottling company, or if there are any other scholarships that are available through our community, we will also send that information to all of our seniors. We encourage you to download that Remind app because that's going to be our vehicle of communicating with our students. We will also send emails to the emails that we have for all of our students. Check the Instagram accounts because we will be providing you with the information as we receive it. The one thing that we know for sure is that if you apply, you will get a response in terms of what you're eligible for. If you don't apply, I guarantee you, you're not going to get much because you're not applying. So we want to wish you the best. Again, keep in touch with your counselors, and thank you for attending today's Parent Financial Aid General presentation.